During World War II, the Nazi-German submarine U-1206 was lurking in the North Sea, caught between the perils of the deep and British planes patrolling overhead. At a critical moment, while using the toilet, the captain opened the wrong valve. Within seconds, seawater rushed into the vessel, reached the batteries, and triggered the generation of chlorine gas, forcing the submarine to surface. It was located where the British Navy and Air Force were keeping a tight vigil. They destroyed the submarine as soon as they saw it and took all the crew members prisoner. At 200 meters deep in the ocean, submarines have no room for error. Even the smallest mistake can spell doom. It is said that a submariner's true enemy is none other than their own mind. Their world is nothing more than a steel tube, hidden 100 meters below the sea. The weight of water above, the deathly silence below, music, and humans in the middle. The crew living inside it spend not days, but months underwater. In 2024, HMS Vangness set a new record by staying underwater for a full 2001 days. But the question arises, how do submariners survive at this depth for more than 7 months? How do they cope with the lack of food, water, and, most importantly, oxygen? What happens to toilet and other waste in the depths of the ocean? And what options do they have if something goes wrong, like what happened to U-1206? Once again, happy spectators, people often think of a submarine as a luxury vessel, music, where every comfort is available. But in reality, being cut off from the rest of the world in the depths of the ocean is a huge challenge in itself, even if you are in a 5-star suite. In reality, a submarine is no less than a coffin. It's like a tight tube whose sole purpose is to swim stealthily in the depths of the ocean. The space inside is so tight that 2 people can barely move in one place. We're talking about Navy submarines, which look quite large, music, but they also house the engine, several months' worth of supplies, and surprisingly, space for over 130 crew members. For comparison, while a prisoner in a normal prison cell has up to 80 square feet of space, a crew member in a submarine can enjoy only 20 square feet. So, it wouldn't be wrong to say that submariners don't go on missions, but rather serve 6 to 7 months in prison. There's no privacy here if there's no concept. Each person's private space is limited to their shoulders. Every shoulder is constantly bumping into another. And this is where submariners' first challenge begins, claustrophobia. This is a condition in which a person becomes fearful of tight spaces. Panic attacks occur and the heart rate increases. The brain doesn't function properly, and decisions made in this state often prove to be wrong. Claustrophobia is closely monitored in the Navy's selection process. If even mild symptoms are evident, the candidate is rejected. The primary challenge of submarine life is your sleep. If you have your own private bed, you're lucky, because submariners don't have such a thing as a private bed. These bunks are as tight as coffins, stacked on top of each other, so a person can only lie down. Sitting is impossible. Lying on a submarine bed is no less than sleeping in a grave. Submarines like the USS Missouri have 135 crew members, while beds are only 94, meaning one bed is shared by different sailors. There's a system called hot bunking. When one sailor gets up for duty, another's duty ends at the same time, and they get into the same warm bed. This means the bed never gets cold. Imagine, even sleep isn't your own. It's part of the shift system. There's no concept of day and night in submarines, because they're 100 meters under the sea, where sunlight, music, has no chance of reaching. For this reason, the human sleep cycle is completely different from the natural sleep cycle. Everyone has to create artificial sleep cycles. Now, you might be wondering, how do so many people get food when they're confined to one place for so long? When a submarine embarks on a mission, it is loaded with up to 20,000 kilograms of food. But even more surprising is that there is no dedicated storage for this food. Instead, it is spread throughout the submarine. All the food is spread out in the corridors under the beds, and the crew members are literally walking on them. For the first few days, fresh fruits, vegetables, and dairy products are available. These are to be consumed in the first few weeks. After that, the entire crew survives on canned and frozen food. But on submarines, food is considered the most important thing, because food is the only thing that keeps the crew's morale up several hundred meters below. If the food gets boring on a submarine, it can lead to depression. Therefore, missions, there are ice cream machines and sometimes steak nights. There are proper kitchens and chefs. But to minimize accidents, all cooking is done on electric stoves and ovens. And most importantly, normally 3 meals are eaten a day, but on submarines, there are 4 meals in total: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and finally, midnight. This midnight meal is served after midnight. This is because the environment inside a submarine is extremely stressful. Because of this, crew members' bodies burn more calories than a normal human. To prevent them from feeling lethargic, an extra meal is added. And secondly, for those on night shift duty, the mid-rate meal is their only source of energy. And now comes the most surprising part: oxygen. Several hundred meters below the surface, there's no window that can be opened to let in fresh air. It's essentially a sealed metal tube. So, where do submariners get fresh oxygen? Storing oxygen cylinders in a submarine for such a long time is risky because oxygen is a flammable gas. Therefore, submarines employ a sophisticated electrolysis system. The oxygen is separated from the salty sea water, and the remaining hydrogen is disposed of. Each person uses 600 liters of oxygen daily. If there are 130 crew members, the submarine systems have to produce 78,000 liters of oxygen daily. This is exactly like the system of an underwater space station. If the system fails, crew members can experience shortness of breath within minutes. But in a submarine, simply producing oxygen isn't enough to sustain the crew. When a person breathes, they also release carbon dioxide. If oxygen is being produced, which is being consumed, while carbon dioxide is being produced, which is not being consumed, then an imbalance is created in the air. If carbon dioxide exceeds 10%, it is certainly dangerous. Therefore, modern submarines are equipped with carbon dioxide scrubbers. The submarine's air is passed through a tower into which a liquid called amine is sprayed. This chemical absorbs only the carbon dioxide from the air. But, in case this system fails, soda lime or lithium hydroxide canisters are kept in place in case of an emergency. When air passes through these canisters, the chemical reacts with carbon dioxide and converts it into solid carbonate. This is only for emergencies, because once the canister is full, it becomes waste, and disposing of it becomes a new issue. Fresh water is essential in submarines, for everything from cooking to showering, and even laundry to drinking water. But the water, music, she's floating in is all salty. This water is either distilled or filtered through reverse osmosis. Nuclear submarines use distillation. Because there's no shortage of energy, modern submarines, however, are equipped with high-tech filters that separate the salt from the seawater, creating fresh water. Water can certainly be produced here, but there are strict rules for using it. Music. Here, one doesn't get 15 minutes to shower, but a submariner has to use the shower for just 60 seconds. Despite being in the middle of the ocean, a submarine craves every drop of water. Even removing waste from a submarine is a huge tactical challenge. Submarines are under so much water pressure that even a single leak will cause seawater to flood in, just like what happened with U-1206. So, how is wastewater from toilet waste managed? Toilet waste is first collected in a sanitary tank. When this tank is full, it is disposed of into the ocean using extremely powerful pumps. These pumps exert pressure greater than the ocean's pressure. During this process, it is crucial that the valves open in the correct sequence. If the outer valve opens first and the inner valve later, seawater can explode inside the submarine. Solid trash is compacted and packed into steel containers and sometimes launched outside using torpedoes. Machines handle the rest. But what about humans? It's said that a person's greatest enemy here is their own mind. Months of no sunlight and no family contact are equivalent to months of similar smells, similar walls, and similar faces. Crew members can suffer from depression, anxiety, and claustrophobia. Even a small argument in a submarine can become quite dangerous. Therefore, to create a day-night pattern, the daylights in the submarine are colored like natural light, and at night, the lights turn red, so that the mind receives a signal that it's nighttime. But whatever the situation, the crew has to make life and death decisions in these conditions. In October 1944, a torpedo missile was fired from a submarine named USS SANK, but due to a small error in calculations, the torpedo fired but deflected and hit the submarine that had fired it. Be it the toilet incident on U-1206 or the USS SANK's own torpedo, These incidents show us that a submariner's life isn't just about fighting the enemy, but about battling their own minds, their own machines, and the silent ocean, where the only punishment for error is death. We hope you'll like and share this video. Thank you so much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.